The air inside Ironwood Penitentiary is thick with the scent of aged concrete and a palpable sense of confinement. Distant clangs of iron bars and the sharp commands of guards weave a haunting soundscape that defines daily life here. Amidst this oppressive atmosphere, Jesse, a former gang member, begins to narrate his journey, his voice both gritty and reflective. As he describes the stark reality of prison life, he also introduces the purpose of this documentary: to unveil the unseen humanity behind the walls. Jesse recalls the moments that led him to this place, shaped by choices made in desperation, his heart burdened by memories of his son. Yet, in this bleak environment, a flicker of hope ignites as he embraces the newly launched Voices of Hope rehabilitation program, an initiative that could transform their collective pain into power through storytelling and art. With a mix of trepidation and anticipation, Jesse takes the first step on this uncharted path toward redemption and connection. Jesse leans against the cool, concrete wall of his cell, the memories flooding back like a relentless tide. He was once a promising young man, caught in the grip of a gang, searching for belonging in a world that felt so unforgiving. The crime that brought him here, a fateful decision driven by desperation, echoes in his mind, a haunting reminder of the life he lost. As he fumbles through the clutches of regret, he recalls the faces he left behind, especially that of his young son, who now grows up without him. An unsettling mix of anger and sorrow boils within, but it also stirs a flicker of resolve. It is this tumultuous journey that leads him to the Voices of Hope rehabilitation program. Eager yet wary, Jesse knows that sharing his story might be the first step toward redemption, not just for himself, but for the fellow inmates whose struggles mirror his own. As Jesse sits on his bunk, the cacophony of prison life fades into the background. He thinks about the Voices of Hope program, which has ignited a flicker of curiosity and fear within him. Storytelling, once a distant dream, now looms large, a raw avenue for healing. He can't shake off the doubts gnawing at him. What if his past is too dark, too heavy to share? The thought of exposing himself seems terrifying, yet an undeniable urge to connect and be heard surges within him. He recalls the faces of fellow inmates, men and women equally burdened by their histories, and wonders if their stories could intertwine, forming a tapestry of hope that might transcend their current reality. With each breath, he grapples with anticipation and vulnerability, realizing that embracing this journey may be the first step toward claiming a fragment of humanity he thought lost forever. In the cramped confines of Ironwood Penitentiary, Jesse takes a moment to reflect on the stories of his fellow inmates, feeling a deep connection to each of them. It's in this space that Maya's voice emerges, a gentle yet powerful presence. As she shares her story, the pain of her past unfurls like a fragile flower in the midst of concrete. Once a devoted mother, she now finds herself serving time for drug-related offenses that spiraled out of a desperate need to escape her demons. Her haunting memories of laughing with her children dissolve into tears as she recounts the choices that led her here. "I miss them every day," she whispers, her longing palpable. The weight of her addiction feels heavy in the air, but within her sorrow lies an unwavering determination to reclaim her life. Through her vulnerability, the bonds among the inmates tighten, whispering hope into the cracks of their shared despair. Marcus leans back against the cold concrete wall of his cell, the weight of his memories pressing heavily upon him. Once he was the pride of his high school, a track star with dreams that stretched as wide as the horizon. Coaches praised him, peers admired him, and he felt invincible. But one reckless decision altered his trajectory, plunging him into a world of crime and despair. As he shares his story with Jesse, his voice quivers, tinged with sorrow for the aspirations he let slip away. He describes the turning point, the allure of fame overshadowed by the intoxicating thrill of street life. As he reflects on his shattered dreams of athletic glory, there's a glimmer of understanding in his eyes, a realization that identity doesn't have to be defined by past mistakes. Through the lens of his pain, Marcus emerges not just as a failure, but as a man determined to reclaim his worth, inspiring hope amidst the desolation of Ironwood Penitentiary. Elias sits on the edge of his bunk, the faint light casting shadows that dance across his weary face. A former soldier haunted by the specters of war, he shares his experiences with us, offering a glimpse into his tumultuous past. Elias speaks softly about the combat missions that once left him feeling invincible, only to realize that true bravery lay in facing the demons that followed him home. The haunting sounds of distant gunfire echo in his mind, replaying moments of chaos that shattered his sense of peace. In the therapy sessions of the Voices of Hope program, he reveals the toll of PTSD, how it transformed him from protector to prisoner, both abroad and behind bars. As he pours out his pain, the room fills with a profound silence, underscoring the weight of unspoken struggles. Elias's quest for healing becomes a poignant reminder of the unseen battles fought by many, bridging the gap between vulnerability and resilience. As the sound of distant voices echoed in the yard, Jesse introduced Lucy, a formidable presence behind the bars of Ironwood Penitentiary. Her voice, steady yet tinged with emotion, narrated a story of survival that transcends the confines of her male-dominated surroundings. Lucy spoke of the challenges she faced entering a world where vulnerability was viewed as weakness. The battles against both external judgment and internal fear shaped her resolve. Each word she shared peeled back the layers of her past, a tragic history marked by loss and relentless struggle. Yet amidst the adversities, she discovered an unyielding strength. In her heart, Lucy carried the aspirations of countless women who felt marginalized, not just inside these walls, but in society. Her journey wasn't solely about surviving incarceration. It was about reclaiming her identity and redefining power. With her story, Lucy breathed resilience into the gathering, reminding everyone that hope can flourish, even in the harshest environments. As the weeks rolled on in Ironwood Penitentiary, the rhythm of life shifted. Weekly gatherings became sacred moments of shared vulnerability, where the sound of pens scratching against paper mingled with the soft murmur of inmates sharing their creations. Jesse observed the transformation in his peers, men and women who once wore their hardened exteriors now revealing the tender, fractured mosaics of their souls. Art and storytelling served as lifelines, bridging the chasm of isolation that prison walls often enforced. Maya, her voice quivering with emotion, recited a poem about the weight of her choices, while Marcus brought the group to tears with a heartfelt narrative reflecting on lost opportunities. Elias unveiled a haunting yet hopeful piece that depicted his journey through war and peace. Each story echoed with authenticity, and Jesse found himself nodding along, realizing they weren't just sharing art. They were weaving a tapestry of healing that illuminated their darkest fears and dreams. The therapy session begins with an air of palpable tension, an electric silence that hangs heavily in the room. Jesse's heart races as they settle down, the walls closing in around him like a vice. One by one, the inmates voice their darkest secrets, casting a flicker of light on their internal struggles. When it's Jesse's turn, his throat tightens. Memories flood back, his son's innocent laughter, the moment he chose the gang over his family. A chorus of guilt and shame resonates through the shared silence. The weight of unspoken regret ignites a spark of vulnerability, urging him to confront the fear of losing what little he has left. As tears spill, the murmur of empathy fills the air, weaving an unbreakable thread among them. In this moment of raw honesty, the barriers begin to dissolve, allowing a glimmer of hope to emerge from their collective despair. As the weeks rolled on within Ironwood Penitentiary, an unexpected camaraderie blossomed among the inmates. In the dimly lit common area, laughter mingled with the echoes of silence, creating an atmosphere charged with shared vulnerability. Conversations flowed like lifelines, with each story sparking embers of understanding and connection. Jesse watched intently as Marcus opened up about his childhood dreams, while Maya recounted moments of joy with her children before addiction gripped her life. The walls felt less confining, transformed by their collective voices that resonated with empathy and sorrow. Each shared experience drew them closer, forging bonds that seemed unbreakable amidst their adversity. Together, they were not just inmates, but a community stitched together by the threads of resilience and a longing for redemption. It was within this fragile yet powerful kinship that they found solace, an understanding that their pasts did not define them, but rather their courage to confront them and share their truths. As the program progressed, an idea began to take root among the inmates, a mural. a shared canvas that would symbolize their collective journey. One evening, gathered in the drab courtyard under the flickering fluorescent lights, they collectively decided to transform a barren wall into a vibrant testament to hope and resilience. Jesse, his heart racing, felt an electric sense of purpose as he imagined the colors, the shapes, the stories that would unfold on the surface. As they worked together, blending paints and sharing laughter amidst the somber backdrop of their surroundings, the wall transformed, and so did they. Each stroke of the brush became a cathartic release, binding their experiences into a visual narrative. They painted a grand tree, its roots woven deep into the earth while branches reached toward an imagined sky. In that moment, surrounded by newfound brothers and sisters, Jesse understood their shared humanity, igniting a flicker of hope in the darkness. As the days slipped by in Ironwood Penitentiary, Jesse found himself lost in contemplation about his looming release. The walls that had felt both suffocating and strangely comforting began to blur in his mind, an uncertain reflection of what lay beyond them. In the bustling courtyard where they painted their mural, conversations about life after prison swirled around him. He listened as Marcus expressed his fears of being judged before even speaking. Maya spoke of her dreams to reunite with her children, hopeful yet afraid of the rejection that might greet her. Lucy's soft voice echoed with determination, vowing to break the cycle of pain for herself and her family. These conversations underscored a painful truth. The stigma of incarceration would haunt them long after they left these walls. Jesse's heart raced. The echoes of regret mingled with a flicker of hope for redemption, urging him to believe in a future he had once thought impossible. In the hushed ambiance of the common room, the inmates gathered once more, a tapestry of shared struggles and unguarded truths. Jesse looked around, feeling the weight of their vulnerabilities hanging in the air like an unseen fog, thick with emotions unspoken. One by one, they shared their deepest fears. Maya's voice trembled as she spoke of the possibility of never seeing her children again, while Marcus revealed his fear of being forever defined by his mistakes. Elias, with eyes haunted by memories, confessed his uncertainty about trusting the world outside. Lucy, whose unwavering strength resonated, shared her vulnerability in the face of societal judgment. These moments of raw honesty forged deeper connections among them, as laughter and tears mingled together, creating a bond that transcended their circumstances. In this shared vulnerability, Jesse felt a flicker of hope blossom, a reminder that healing often begins in the honest exchange of the heart.